Ina, take one marker.
Thank you.
So businesses in South Africa are in grave danger.
We went from 300 million to 100 million.
The first year we went down a bit. We thought, don't worry, next year it will be better.
We were, waking up to the crack of cash flow every single morning.
We were struggling to get enough money to pay our operating expenses.
We realized it quickly, but we didn't know what to do. We needed to change.
Most entrepreneurs don't know this, but in South Africa, if 100 entrepreneurs start their business today, only 55 will reach year 3, and only 27 will reach year 5, and only 9 will reach year 10. And so in South Africa, it is a graveyard and incredibly difficult to succeed at business and entrepreneurship.
I started the company in 2001. One technical guy, 2 salespeople, 1 admin lady and myself. And we literally, all of us, did everything that needed to be done.
One office, maybe 2 or 3 technicians working there at any time.
So where my journey started at IT Master was quite interesting. I was unemployed and I was literally looking for any job, but I was hoping to get in the IT field.
So I interviewed him, and one of the questions I asked him was to say, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
And I said, I see myself one of the owners of the company, of which she laughed.
Because I thought, somebody with 0 experience to be a director within 5 years, that needs some doing. But then, within 5 years, he was a director.
In the first 6 months of me being here, I brought in R1 million worth of sales, not being in sales. And that the company was only about 1.6 million per annum by then.
He had a vision and he spoke to me about it, and then we said, well, let's go for it. Let's go national, let's branch out, let's branch into the corporate market. We have nothing to lose.
So most businesses, when they start off, go through what we call a business life cycle. And it looks like an S-curve. Entrepreneurs go through this life cycle stage, initially trying to sell their product, and then they reach what we call break-even point. Normally within the first 2 to 3 years they reach this point, and when they reach that point, essentially the S-curve that initially went down into making losses, it turns and it starts making profits. And it's at that point when you should be very careful at becoming aware that you should now shift your strategy. What got you here will not get you up the S-curve. I met IT Master when they were literally flying up this curve.
Yeah, the company grew 100% year on year, of which I used to bring in 95% of the business alone.
They were totally unaware that there is a massive free fall coming.
So it literally changed one Friday afternoon in a QRAP hosted by Ben at Game Changers. And Ben just stopped the QRAP and said, listen, you guys are not going to survive 6 months. When we put all the projections on the board, but it was only Ben that saw, to say, what? This is not the way to survive. You are actually, you have 2 quarters left as a business, and he could interpret the information.
And so what I did at that time is I saw this dynamic. I also saw that this is slowly going nowhere, and this aeroplane is busy dipping, and so it needed somebody to shake them both awake from this dream.
Sometimes you need a fresh perspective, an external person that can tell you, this is what you need to do, and you need to do it quickly, otherwise it's not going to work.
You have to decentralize and push down authority down the organization and not centralize it at the top. That is super difficult for most founders. They don't know how to do that. They struggle to do that.
Because of your emotional investment, it doesn't work for you to see objectively what's going on and maybe take the right decisions.
For Ina, it was natural to lead. She was the founder. She was the original CEO. For her to transition this control over was something she always knew she needed to do at some stage, but keep deferring.
At that point, when he was having that conversation, CEO was the farthest thing from my mind, and I didn't think I could do that. I basically learned everything that I know today within this company under the guidance of Ina.
From being a sales networking person to CEO, that was a really big transition that I'm very proud of him.
It gave the management team and the entire company a view of how strong our leaders are. They taught us a lot.
It was a hard decision. It took time. It took steps, baby steps, But initially, emotionally, it was really very hard for me.
Ina is more about the detail, and I'm more about the why and the goals.
This belief, this energy, this almost superpower that was vested in him at that point in time is what the organization and the team needed as a fresh injection into their ability to believe that it's possible to turn this around, to believe that we can do this.
The change of the CEO from Ina, who's the founder of the organization, to actually hand over the reign to somebody that he just employed and groomed from a technician level to a CEO level. It's unheard of in the industry.
What IT Master did is they needed to say no to the non-core and say yes to the core part of the business.
We took our big market and then we narrowed it, and just recently we narrowed it further for laser focus.
The story is beautiful because they focused, because they believed in what the data was saying to them as this is your core business, this is where you make most of the profit. And they started saying yes to that and said no to everything else. It literally poured profits into this business.
The biggest thing that changed, let me start there, with Business Game Changers coming around, was us having credible data and understanding what is the data we require.
They start at the correct place in this whole process of scaling a business.
That process set IT Master up for achieving the success they did.
The most valuable thing that Business Game Changers helped us with is identifying our core, who we are, what do we stand for, why do we exist. That for me helps with the now and the future.
I'm so excited about IT Master. They are poised for success. They have selected a path to scale.
We probably would not have had this much of structure and progress had it not been for Business Game Changers.
I honestly don't think that we would have made it up to now if it wasn't for Business Game Changers.
Where were you in 10 years ago?
I definitely wouldn't have got here where I am now without Business Game Changers. If I did, and it was God's plan for me to get there, I think it would have taken 10 times the amount of time for me to learn lessons. I think if you can listen, that's the critical part. You need to come in like you know nothing and just do.
And the tools they bring us, oh my word, excellent tools, definitely. And we're going to keep using them.
They gave me the blueprint on what I should do, what are the steps I should take. And I think it's moved us years ahead and moved me years ahead.
So Business Game Changers are experts in providing strategy, execution and culture process development. And we do that through a systematic 26-month program where we take your hand and through dedicated 16 to 21 days, depending on your rate of scale and the rate of growth, we facilitate this process end to end. We basically do an MBA whilst you're sitting in your seat as CEO, on you and on your senior management team whilst you're enjoying this climb.
It takes a lot of work on your side, but the results are quite amazing.